In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all my preparation going into my elk hunt this year. So, and everything from packing the truck. Last week I posted a video about all the stuff I'm carrying in my pack, so this week's going to be more about packing the truck, about my preparation for my weapon, calling sequences, calling preparation, watching videos, things like that. I'm going to cover it all right here. All right, now because these calls are so freaking loud, how I typically prepare for these types of trips, how I will prepare my calling sequences and things like that, and just practice calling in general, is I'll just do it in the car whenever I'm driving somewhere. Right now I'm driving up to my parents' house, dropping off some stuff for my dad to load up into the truck. So practicing my calling in the car is crucial for me. It's really the only time, because I don't want to annoy the crap out of Sammy, and whenever I make these elk vocalizations in front of Koa, he will just howl at it. He'll like howl at it. So I always like to do it in the car. Gives me some clarity, and I can figure out and put myself in certain elk calling situations. So say there's a bugling bull and I'm trying to work my way into it. How am I going to go about calling? Am I going to start off with a cow call? Am I going to start off with a bugle? You know, what does my locator bugle sound like? All of that stuff. So as I'm preparing right now, I'm going to put myself in the situation. Okay, I'm just cruising around the mountains trying to figure out where bulls are at. I'm going to give out a locator bugle, and to give a locator bugle, I use the Phelps bugle tube with the Easy Bugler mouthpiece on it. So the Easy Bugler mouthpiece right here, it's really easy to use. You just blow straight into it, and it creates a good, loud, crisp sound. So my locator bugle sounds something like this. Kind of hit all of the notes and then come back down. All right, so now you have your bull located, you know where it's at. How are you gonna approach? Now, what I typically, my kind of go-to strategy for approaching an elk that I know where it's at, I'm gonna create cow calls. I'm gonna use cow calls to kind of get closer, test its temperature. If that bull is bugling its head off to cow calls, you know that it's an aggressive bull, and you're going to be able to call him pretty easily with a challenge bugle once you get close. But you first need to judge that temperature, right? And you don't want to scare the crap out of a bull that's maybe a little bit timid. You walk up within 100 yards of it, scream out a challenge bugle, and it just runs away, and you have no opportunity. So what I'm usually going to do is I'll start cow calling as I'm making my way closer to this bull, just depending on the situation, but we'll just say that I'm approaching using these cow vocalizations to get close. Now you can see there's a lot of different sounds. You want to add a little bit of emotion to it. You want to pretend that you are a cow looking to find a bull. You're lonely, you're trying to communicate with your other cows that are around you. You're like, I want a bull to come find me. So, add those little flares. You don't want to just make it sound like ear, ear, ear. It's not going to work. It's not going to be realistic. Cows, they have certain vocalizations that they use whenever they want certain things. So you got to learn those. You got to make sure you understand them. So now that I have, cow called, done all of that, and say, for example, I get a challenge bugle back, or I get a bugle back, something a little bit half-hearted, but it's still sounding like a little bit aggressive, like it wants that cow, then I'm going to immediately cut that bull off with a challenge bugle. Now that was a challenge bugle right there. So once you have challenged that bugle, you cut him off, he should be a little bit riled up now. And, you know, some other calling things I like to do are rake trees, rake brush with, you know, with my bugle tube and things like that, making other elk sounds. But those are kind of how I practice, and I just mentally put myself in those situations whenever I'm preparing for elk season. And the car is a great place to do that, because you can concentrate and you can really focus on the task at hand, what you're trying to do. Up next, I'm gonna show you how we pack the truck. So I'm gonna try and unload everything that I can into my dad's truck, make sure it's all set and ready to go for our trip.
190. Yeah, 130.
Over there. And then all right, so just to break down what we're taking on our trip here. We have a can. Against my better judgment, we're taking this can of chicken. It's got a good protein source, and it's got a decent amount of calories. So we're gonna take that, and then we have our daily packs of things that we're bringing. So inside here we have a you know, beef jerky stick for protein. We have 3 packs of these Quaker instant oats. We have Pop-Tarts, which are also a good source of like carbs and sugars to kind of give you that giddy up and go. We have 2 packs of these applesauce, these little applesauce packs. These are good just to get like a little bit of fruit in you, so you're not you know, just gives you that little bit of extra energy and vitamins per day. We have a pack of tuna. These are also really high in protein. There's 16 grams of protein in this little pack, and they're also light and very cheap. We have 3 packs of top ramen. A lot of carbs. You're going to need a lot of carbs whenever you're hiking around, so this is a good source for that. Then we have these MREs, which have like 1,080 calories in one of them. And we'll probably split these between the 3 of us, you know, just depending on, you know, how we feel and everything. But yeah, these will be good as well. And then finally we have little Pedialyte sport packs, just to make sure you're staying hydrated and you have electrolytes, so you're not cramping up or anything like that. And that's our food setup. We're gonna throw these all in bags and haul them around with us. It's probably weighs around like 2 to 3 pounds. So it's a little bit heavy, but you know, it's kind of inevitable that it's gonna be heavy. So we're gonna deal with it. All right, so now for the actual stuff that we're putting in the truck. This is just like a water cooler. All this stuff's gonna be just in the bed of the truck at all times. This is like kind of water, just fresh water that we're gonna need throughout our trip, throughout the week that we're there. Now moving more into kind of the extra stuff that I'm bringing. Right here I have an extra sleeping bag, an extra sleeping pad. I brought my fly fishing stuff, just in case, you know, we have a little bit of extra time. It's always good to bring a second option of something to do. So I got all that stuff. Really the big things, a bunch of clothing items, stuff that I'm gonna be wearing while I'm walking in, just so it's available whenever we first get there, and I don't have to fumble around to try and find it. We have a shovel here just in case we need to dig something up, get ourselves unstuck. Another smaller shovel. We have a hand saw for cutting branches, trees that have fallen over the road if we're passing down a road that you know, has some deadfall. Axe for same purpose, or hatchet. Just like generic cups, things like that, things that you're gonna need. Got my boots, some more fly fishing stuff, but I like to throw it in the cooler because I'll show you here in a minute why I have 2 coolers here, and why one's empty. All right, so we just went through that cooler. That's all the stuff that I need to keep dry that I'm just gonna keep in the cooler. Now this cooler is just full of possibility. Just kidding. I have this bottle in here to represent what I'm gonna be using this cooler for. So a scalding hot tip for anyone that's going on these types of hunts or driving somewhere to hunt. If you drink milk as much as I drink milk, you want to save these milk jugs, because you can fill these up with water, freeze them, and just stack them in this cooler. I have like 20 milk jugs that I'm just gonna fill this cooler up with, and it's great ice, so you have ice available. It stays frozen for a very long time. It's a very large chunk of ice, and whenever it thaws, then you have like 30 gallons of fresh water. So it's just kind of multi-use. Instead of just buying those bags of ice, dumping them in here, and then dumping out the water whenever they melt, you have these extra jugs that can then be used over again. And whenever we do, you know, God willing, we do get a bull, then I can switch over, you know, half of the jugs that are in this cooler into that cooler, move all that stuff out into a different area. Now for cooking around camp, I have just this this Blue Rhino griddle. It's super convenient, easy to use. I do need to season this thing. It's a little bit rusty. I haven't used this specific one yet, but you know, whenever you're around the truck, around camp, and you want to just cook something up real fast, you don't want to stick with the jet boiled MRE meals, and you want something that's actually fresh and you know, tasty. I'm gonna use this thing right here. The most important thing is a nice waterproof, abrasion proof, really heavy duty rifle case that you're going to be carrying your rifle in. Gear gets busted up all the time whenever you're traveling, so to have something that's sturdy and you know, it's like a TSA approved case right here, so it's nice and sturdy, hard, and it's going to keep your rifle, your weapons safe and out of harm's way. All right, and last but not least, our camping setup system for whenever we're at the truck. So this is a Smitty built rooftop tent, and this thing is freaking awesome. It's a workhorse. We use it all the time, but for this trip, it's especially nice whenever we're staying by the truck. Just folds out, really nice, easy, straps onto the roof rack, and it's very comfortable. It's like sleeping on your bed, but out in the woods. We're gonna spend a lot of our time doing like backcountry type hunts, but whenever we're by the truck, this is definitely gonna be crucial for comfort and you know, just overall enjoyment of the hunt. All right, so now that we got all that taken care of, food has been covered, all of our gear has been covered that we're keeping at the truck, you know, all of our carrying stuff, making sure that everything's waterproof. Now it's time to go head to the range and do a little bit of shooting with the muzzleloader and make sure our zero is locked in. You guys good? You guys clear? Yeah. Clear.
Ready for the early season?
Yes, sir. I'm heading out to Colorado.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, next weekend.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge getting the open sights ready to go.
I hear you.
Now that right there is what we like to see. Couple shots with the open sights on the target. That'll kill an elk for sure. All right, now it's time to go home and watch some football. All right, that things up for us, I think we got everything good to go. I'm confident in the plan, done a lot of preseason scouting, a lot of work has gone into this, and I am just looking forward to getting out there and hiking around the mountains. We got all our stuff packed. We got the rifle sighted in with the open sights at 100 yards with a couple inch spread is not too shabby. So, man, I'm so excited, looking forward to it. Thank you guys for checking this video out. Be sure to check out the YouTube channel if you want to watch more videos like this. We post them every Thursday, so be sure to look at that on Something in the Wild. We also got our new website launched, somethinginthewild.com. So thank you guys so much again, and make sure to keep it wild.